Watopian Weekly. Welcome! Welcome to Watopian Weekly. Welcome! We're here to talk about Zwift Life Beyond. Here to talk about what's going on. So welcome to Watopian Weekly. Welcome! Watopian Weekly is a podcast for Zwifters, cyclists, and everyone else. Welcome! My name is Dustin, and we are here to discuss all things Zwift, life, and beyond. And with me, all right, time to get that new bike dirty. Here he is, the guy who's been training, keeping all of our hopes and cheers inside. Because they're going to come out with the first place finish, right? That's got to be. The dude putting in all the miles and bringing in all the smiles. James! Woo! James, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad, Dustin. Good to see you. It's been a while. So obviously been putting lots of training, focusing on me rather than you. And here we are.
Yeah, man, this is great. Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing about the same, but I've been thinking about you though. But I mean, that's okay. But yeah,
yeah, not creepy in the slightest there.
Oh, right. In a good way. Yeah. I mentioned that to a friend of mine who is. We talk about coffee a lot on these rides, and I said I think about you every morning, my friend Dan, and he's like, as you should, and I was like, well, right, and he said, and 2 times at night, which is really funny. But anyway, but where I was talking about how I like to measure the coffee, which I shouldn't have too much coffee. I've already had enough, if you can't tell. But because it's morning time for me, nighttime for you, or afternoon, I believe. But yeah, we were talking about how you measure coffee and stuff like that. What do you do for coffee? You have an espresso machine, right? You do espresso?
Yeah, we've got a
I know
nice
we talked
coffee
about this.
Yeah, a nice coffee machine. It nearly exploded on me this morning. So
oh no.
Molten coffee grind to clean off the kitchen wall, but yeah, it's good. I had about 4 coffees before 10 a.m. UK time, so
oh man,
that's just to get myself sort of going this morning. So
right,
but good, definitely fun making it yourself.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah, well, I'd usually do like a Chemex or a pour over and everything, and I've got everything like all measured out and everything using a coffee scale. I'm getting really good at that, and it's been consistent and it's been good, so I'm doing all right. It is nicer to make it yourself sometimes. So anyway, the reason I did not get up at 3 a.m. For me, because that's when coverage started for Paris-Roubaix, and I know we're going to talk about that soon, but we'll save that for a little bit here. But let's just talk about. I mean, we haven't talked for a while, James. It's been a while, man. I mean, it's just schedules. There was a bunny that came to our house and left a whole bunch of candy and stuff. So I mean, things just got out of hand, or not out of hand, but just our schedules got a little convoluted here. So we should do a Watopian Weekly catch up. Get it? Watopian Weekly? Yeah. Anyway, what have you been up to, James, besides riding your bike, man? You've been doing a lot.
Yeah, I've been outside. I haven't been on Zwift that much, actually. It's only really tail end of this week that I got back into it. So I did the penultimate stage of dirt racing. And then can do the last stage because we obviously, with the Easter period and Easter break that we've had the opportunity. We went away. I was able to get some hill climb training in. What
nice.
Should have been beautiful sunshine weather, but the weather has been, wherever I've gone, terrible. So I've been covered in a Saharan dust storm. I've been hailed on. I've been rained on repeatedly in an island in the Mediterranean where it's usually wall-to-wall sunshine. So, and I hadn't packed to cover all the weather conditions, which was a bit of a shame. So that it's been good. I've got the Fred Witten Challenge Sportive coming up in a month's time. So there is this panic going on where I feel significantly underprepared and undercooked, and trying to frantically fit in the right sort of last minute training, knowing that I've had months to be much more organized about this. And I think we had obviously the the FRR event, and I did the MATLAB challenge, of which, if I just show you, I've got the t-shirt.
Nice. Look at that. Looking good. Looking good.
Big thank you to Matt and Rich at FRR for getting that across. So yeah, it's gotten its first wear today. So really pleased about that. But after that event, work and everything just seemed to get really busy. So sort of dropped off, my riding dropped off the scale. So I was quite conscious that March I've done very little apart from it was sort of DRS was the only thing really keeping me active. And then I tried to go up a mountain and got washed off it halfway up. So that was a bit of a shame while we were out in Cyprus. So that was Mount Olympus. I was feeling really good. I'd got up to sort of 1,200 meters. So what's that? Nearly 4,000 foot. And then the heavens turned. I had to stop because of the hail. And then it turned into torrential thunderstorms. So if you go on my Strava, you'll see some of the video that I took that isn't quite showing how much of a flood it was, and had to aquaplane down the mountain because I was soaked to the skin, and it was freezing. Yeah, got down the hill, messaged my wife, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we're sitting by the beach in the sunshine. It's like 25 degrees." It's like,
well, about what bike did you bring? Or did you?
I didn't. I hired one out there. I used a company out there when we've gone out quite a bit. So really nice carbon Ultegra, but it's rim brake. So rim brake coming down a mountain in the pouring rain, and you can't feel your fingers, was definitely a little bit sketchy, would be to say the least. So but it was funny, you sort of got off the mountain, the sun came out, and by the time I got down to effectively to the beach again, which is about 35 kilometers away, I was dry, and it was just like, that's so annoying. And you could see coming down the mountain the sunshine appear, but once I'd made that decision to turn around, it was done. So annoyingly, I'm gonna have to go back and finish it because that just was a bit of a pain. So
Mount Olympus, the Zeus was up there throwing thunderbolts at you is probably what happened.
Yeah, pretty much. I sat in this bus shelter with this cat, and the cat came over and sort of got drenched, come and sort of chat to me, and I was chatting away to it, and I only had these what were now very wet wafer biscuits. So I gave him some of my biscuit. I shared some of my fuel, and it just looked at me in disgust and walked off. So,
so you're, oh my gosh, you're sitting in the bus shelter, absolutely drenched, upset because you can't finish your ride. A cat comes over and was either coming to comfort you or just to see what food you had, probably. What do you think?
I think it's probably going to eat me, actually. I thought it might have seen me as a fair game from that side. Yeah. But I think it just summed it up. You're sort of sitting there. I'm in a bus shelter, halfway up a mountain. I'm soaked to the skin. There is a flood of water coming down past me, and I'm like, I can't really, I can find the company I use out there, CWC, are really good. They will come out and pick you up off a mountain. Their support mechanism is really good. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I can get myself down. And but there was a point sitting there, just like, this was just a stupid. I'm on holiday. What am I doing? What am I doing? Soaked to the skin on a bike. This is ridiculous. But it was a shame because it felt good. And the problem was, if I'd have left an hour earlier, I'd have got to the top and got caught on the way downhill. So I can't make my mind up what was good or bad, but it's the highest I've climbed outdoors, so happy with that. The legs felt good, so that's a good sign. We've got a training ride with Tom, who's our ladder vice captain, next weekend over in the Chiltern, so a lot more up and down. So let's see how that plays out. So that'll be a good indication of where I am in relation to that the event that we're doing. So we'll see how we are. They've changed the route of the Fred Whitton in the UK. So basically, the first main climb, the road got washed away November last year, and they haven't fixed it. So we're going on a slight diversion, and it's up what is called the Struggle. So this was used in the British Hill Climb Championships. I think it was last year or the year before.
I've seen videos of that.
So Andrew Feather won that one. He went up it in 12 minutes or something like that.
In 12 minutes. So you could probably do 15 minutes.
Dustin, have faith in me. I can do it in under 10 with an electric motor on my bike. So yes. I think in the first half an hour in that event, I think I'm going to be broken and my legs are going to be sort of absolutely smashed. So we'll see how we go. But there was one positive thing is they've reduced the not 5 miles off the route, which is brilliant, but the elevation is still pretty punchy. So the focus is really sort of just getting the legs ready for that sort of climbing in that event in a month's time. So we're going to have a mix of outdoor rides and sort of a bit of racing on Zwift, which we'll talk about ZRL in a bit. Sort of going from there. To be fair, last 2 weeks is first times this year that I've done more riding outdoors than indoors, which is for me quite impressive. So just need to keep that trend up. How about yourself?
I've been doing a lot of the same, but trying to get ready for a couple events. And I know we're going to talk about that using Zwift to prepare for outside. We are going to do that, but I've been doing the same. I've been doing a lot of ladder racing and everything. It's kind of it's funny that there's ladder racing and the ladder racing I've been doing in ZRL and DRS, everything that's been happening on Tuesday, and like every Tuesday or like every Monday, I'm like, okay, I'm prepping for my Tuesday, getting it ready and everything. And then Tuesday night is like the best night of the week, like where it's like the weather's the nicest, it's not raining, and there's like a group rides to go on, and it's like, oh, that would be great, but I've got a race or something. I've got something else. So every other day's just been crappy, and so we haven't been able to do it. Like, for example, yesterday, I am so excited. Yesterday, I got my mountain bike out for the first time this year. Got put new sealant in, which took forever. I'm like, why is the sealant not going in? Because of course, I saved it till the morning of the ride. So yesterday morning, I'm trying to get the sealant in the tires, and I'm like this. I'm squeezing the bottle like as strong as I can. It's not going anywhere. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So then I'm like, oh, it's probably all clogged in the valves, so I had to pull everything apart and jam it down there, and I was able to get it unclogged, and everything flowed after that. But I never know. I use Orange Seal, and we're not sponsored by Orange Seal, but we could be. And it's great. Orange Seal's been fantastic. But one thing, I mean, would it kill them to put maybe it's difficult. I don't know, but to put little like gradations on the bottle, on the side of the bottle, you know what I mean? Like just put like this is an ounce, this is 2 ounces or something like that. Because I know like for a 29er wheel, 29er tire with 2.4 inches, I need to put 4 ounces in there. So then, and that's about half the bottle of an 8 ounce bottle. And I get that, like that's not so bad, but I had to sit there and I was measuring out. I measured how tall the bottle was, and then I had to use math. I had to use math to figure out like if I pour down this much, it's going to be half, whatever. And like because I also have some other tires I need to fill up. Anyway, I ended up with like 2 to 3 ounces in each one, as far as I can tell. Which it would almost be easier if it was in milliliters, but whatever. Anyway, it probably says that on there. I don't know.
I've just got this the vision of that scene in Die Hard with a Vengeance where they're trying to work out the measures off the bottles of you doing that. Actually, quite funny. Now that's interesting because I was topping up sealant in a set of wheels yesterday as well. So I'm interested to understand. What was your method of getting the sealant in the tires? Is it injecting it, or is it flip the tire off and pour in?
So a friend of mine who's has way more sets of tubeless tires than I do. I mean, he buys it by the gallon, right? And so I just mentioned this to him, and he said that he always injects it into the core and or into the stem and whatever, into the wheel, injecting it. And I'm like, that's easier. It's less messy. You don't have to, put the tire on, take the tire off and then put it back on and everything. And so that's what I went with this time. But I prefer to take the bead off and pour it in, because then you know how much is going in. But at the same time, it's just easier to just, squeeze it in there. But what do you like to do?
Well, I injected for the first time, and I made an absolute mess to the point where I stopped, took the bead off and poured it in from the other side. So I can't work out whether I just created an airlock, and I was just squeezing for nothing. But I don't know. On paper, and when I've watched people do it and watched it on YouTube, it looks so smooth and easy. Yes. And to be fair, I could have done a better job by standing about 100 meters away and throwing it at the tire for the mess that I've made of our back garden.
Well, so it's the problem with if there is a blockage in there, and then you put the tube over the stem. I'm trying not to be too graphic with my hand gestures, but if you put the tube over the stem, and then you really got to ream that thing out, but you're right though. It's because I think when you and I'm not an expert by any means at really anything, but when you put when you're inflating the tire, air is escaping, and that's usually where the sealant is going, and that usually gets clogged up. That's why the valves, the cores get all screwed up. So anyway, it just, you got to make sure it's clear. So, yeah, I don't know. It's this is the first time I've done these wheels because this is it's been a year since sealant has been put in there, just because I rode it all summer, and then I don't know. I was experimenting with with my gravel wheels. I have them hung up, and I've been just every so many days when I'm in the basement, just twisting them to see if that makes any difference to keep the sealant in there, and it doesn't. But but it just dried out over the winter. But I don't know. Have you tried that at all? I don't know. I still have to put fresh sealant in there just to be safe.
No, you're more regular than me. I sort of ride it for 6 months and think, oh, hang on a minute, the sealant might not exist anymore, and have been lucky enough to get away with not having a puncture.
Right. Well, I've been told that it's like 3 months you can maybe do, and then you have to do a refresh, and so that means I've got a lot of wheels I need to refresh. But and I also spoke to my mechanic friend about this because I was like, well, but there's there's stuff in there, and he was telling me, yeah, there might be liquid in there, but the actual particulate that clogs up the holes might be already used. And I'm like, that is a very good point. I didn't think about that. I'm buying some more sealant. So
yeah, it's probably similar to mine. Most of it's across the garden that actually seals the hole.
Yeah, all the flowers are sealed and everything. Yeah. Oh man. Well, it's I'm excited for that because yesterday I did go on a proper mountain bike ride, this first one of the year. I was so excited to get the top fuel out. I have a dual suspension top fuel. I got it used last year, so it's a 2023, and I only got to ride it a couple times. I'm still not really used to it, but I got to go on a group ride, which for a friend of mine's, he said let's meet tomorrow and ride. I'm like, let's do it. So I was feeling okay. Friday night, I've been doing a lot of training myself on Zwift because I've got a couple events coming up. And so I ended up doing this big Coach Cat workout that was supposed to be for Thursday, and Friday was supposed to be my day off, and then I was supposed to go hard yesterday. But I ended up I had to move that around just because I had work and everything got in the way, and my family actually wanted to see me. I don't know why, and so I had to change that a little bit, and so I had to change my schedule, and so I ended up doing 29 miles on Friday night, and then yesterday. So I was pretty much cooked coming into this ride. And do you do a lot of mountain biking at all, James? Or?
No, my mountain bike gets ridden to the park once in a blue moon. We've actually got Silwood Forest is just down the road, the other side of Ascot, which has got some trails and some good sort of. We haven't got a lot of mountains where I am. But there's a good sort of setup there and a sort of base that you can go and do it. But I'm not a flat bar fan at the moment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I know what you mean.
To that.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I bring that up is just because with mountain biking, I feel like it's like with road biking, you have long sustained efforts. With here, it's like it's like, all right, I got to get up this hill. Lots of power. Oh, I'm gonna die. Lots of power. I'm gonna die. I'm okay. All that's repeating in my head, and that's exactly what happened. I went with some of my friends who were like, they are so fast. I was definitely the slowest of the group, and there's guys on single speeds that are way faster than I am, and I'm on my full suspension bike and everything. And and anyway, I was proud of myself. I stupidly went up the mountain first because it's not a mountain, but it's a bluff, a big hill. About 1,000 feet of elevation change was in our ride, which is considerable, I think. But anyway, they were like, "Well, when are we going? Where are we going?" I said, "Let's go." So I just went up the hill and went up this because the ride starts. I don't even know. We're like at 500 feet or something like that. And then you go up to about 600 or 700 or 800 feet. And so I said, all right, let's go. So I started and we just kept going. I just kept the pace high, get all the way to the top. And then I had to have somebody else take over. But I was happy because the engine was there, but the skills were not there. It's still early in the season. There's still lots of rocks and everything. I did almost have a very much catastrophic, very scary trip to the hospital kind of crash, which thankfully the The bike saved me. Yeah, if the lady who I live with, who smells so nice, listens to this, she'll probably say, don't you ever go mountain biking again. But there's this, it was at the end of the ride too, which is there was only like maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 miles left of the thing. So pretty much at the end, right? We're going down this very, very fast descent. I don't even know how fast it was, but it was very fast. And we usually go up this trail, but we're going down it because it's bi-directional. You can do either, and it's fun both ways. Anyway, it's this Vista Trail. And the people who live in our area know the Vista Trail. So anyway, we're going down the Vista Trail, and there's this huge, huge rock, like, I don't know, the size of an armchair. It's huge, right? So, or maybe not. I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. It's huge. So anyway, we usually go up it, and I have to get off my bike to go up it because it's just so hard to get around it and everything, and it's eroded away and everything. It's still early in the spring. So this time we're going down it, and I'm watching my friend in front of me go, my friend Kevy, he went right over it. No problem. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I could do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way too big. I mean, it was, I don't know what the drop off was, but it was way too big for my skill set right now. And instead of rolling off it, I got too scared and I went down, and everything compressed, all of my fork, all of the suspension, everything. I'm down, like almost nose wheeling, and I'm like, I have to save this, or because there's a cliff off to the side, which I could very much get hurt and everything. And anyway, I was able to save it and roll it out, and then let out a big woohoo, I'm alive. And then I just had to survive the end, and I did it. Yes. So, but that was terrifying. Very terrifying.
Oh, a lot of it is always down to confidence. If you go into anything, it's same with cornering that I found. And one of the things I've noticed from getting back outdoors is I have the technical skills. I just haven't used them for a while. So it's remembering, what line to take into a bend, when you need to.
Huge.
Practicing my bunny hopping over potholes, and get one of them wrong, you get yourself in trouble. And I had I was going downhill after we'd stopped for lunch on the beach. It was doing about 65 kilometers an hour, and a bee or a wasp flew under my glasses and stung me on the side of my nose.
No.
And all I'm doing is like, I need to come to a stop because it's now flying around my eye.
Oh.
And I was like, I can't see what I'm doing. So I managed to get to stop, flick it up, and all my nose had started to swell and my eye had got all puffy, and I was just like, that could have easily just ended up with me coming off and crashing from that side. But I think your bit is, especially sort of, is if you don't have the confidence, you're on the back foot already. So well done on saving it. But it's sort of having the belief of how you know what to do. It's just applying it, isn't it? If that makes sense.
Right. It was very scary. Well, I'm glad you're okay and you're not allergic to bees, because that could have been really bad.
Well, I think it's the only one on the island as well.
Well, now it's not there anymore because it probably died, right? Don't they die
pretty
after
much.
they stink? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you took care of that. So the cat was thankful.
It could have popped it in my pocket and used it as a food further down the line.
Really.
Down the trip.
Oh man! And the other thing I have an update about is my gravel bike, my new gravel rig. It's coming along. I still have not ridden it yet, though. It's because every time it's been nice, I've either been on I have to do a race or something like that. The team needs me, so I got to do that. Or so my Ritchie G29, as I'm calling it, has the fork on it. I've got the fork installed and everything. The rigid fork that I got from the Gravel Legend. In our area, we have a gravel legend named. He's in the Gravel Hall of Fame. His name is Guitar Ted.
Okay.
And he actually has his own podcast too. Shout out to Guitar Ted. It's pretty cool. So I have his old fork. So there's a lot of like a celebrity on there, I guess. I don't know. So it's cool. He wrote it, and then a friend of mine wrote it, and now I'm riding it. Anyway, so it's a Salsa Chromoto fork. And anyway, I do have to say that this bike. When I had my Ritchie set up, and I know you can get these bikes down to a lot, like around 20, maybe 25, 26 pounds or something like that if you buy a carbon fork and everything. When I had my suspension fork on it, it was 29 pounds, which I know is a lot, but that's just how it is. I wasn't going to buy a super expensive fork for that. And then now with this rigid fork on there, I'm down to 26 pounds, which is pretty good. And it's steel. It's everything's steel. Even the fork is steel. So it has an incredible ride quality. I just got to get out and ride it. So anyway, I'm excited for that. So that's cool. All right. We got to move on to our main talking points here. Now, James and I are recording this on Sunday, and we were texting back and forth because we had to finish Paris-Roubaix. that was an incredible race. And I don't want to, spoiler alert, you're going to hear the finish here because I joined, I got up not too early, but I got out and was able to watch the last 40K. But there were mechanicals, lots of mechanicals, geez. And that probably cost Matthew Vanderpool. I mean, a lot of people would say that, if I didn't have the mechanical, I would have been okay. But that ending was incredible. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I was doing a dirt group ride, so I only caught sort of the last 50K, but even then the excitement and the jeopardy of some of the mechanicals, because pretty much all of them changed their bike at some point, it felt like, and it was just timing sort of got it from there. But Van der Poel was like 2 minutes 40 back, and he ended up finishing, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear this, 15 seconds behind the eventual winner. Now, that in itself, I'd love to see his power numbers and what he was doing, because he must have been really shifting it. So gutted for him, but, the race is like that. I think he slightly got stuffed when Gana punctured and then crashed. So he lost to somebody who was going to help work with him. But the finish after that distance, and the surges and the sprint finish as well was impressive to watch, and great finish, and it was really a really exciting race to watch. So pleased got to see the last bit of it, because it was touch and go. They only
it was
it looked like that second group could always get back on, and it kept the two at the front in Pog and Wout honest to the finish, so they couldn't really start finessing and mucking about until they got onto the velodrome.
Yeah, and then the other group arrived basically when they finished. I mean, so
they were. I think Sturven finished third, and he was only 13 seconds behind them. So they cut that time significantly. And they weren't hanging around, were they? Because they were saying on the commentary that I was listening to, it's the fastest Paris-Roubaix. They were averaging, I think they were saying 49 kilometers an hour for the race, which is ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah,
for sort of fast. 5 hours of racing, it's crazy.
So this and the fact that Wout was able to out sprint Tadej Pogacar, whatever, at the end was incredible. After like you said, after 5 hours of racing. But I got to say, I have a little bit of that in me, because we did some ladder racing. I forgot to mention this. And a shout out to the Rhinos. Shout out to Josh, who's also Josh Hulse, who's a listener here. He totally beat us. By the way, I forgot. I have to say this, because Josh was beating up on us the whole time on this ladder race, and then at the end he just let all of his watts out and totally won, which is awesome. Way to go. And then we raced another Rhinos team, and I felt like Wout van Aert, because but I didn't get the win. So I guess I'm more like Tade, because we were racing this very, very hard course. I can't remember. Oh, it was 2 times up the Temple, and it was the Temple KOM, which is very, very difficult at the end. And then it ended at the little bump at the end. So I mean, it's only 15K, but that's a lot. That's a hard 15K. So we got to the end here, and it was just it was 2 versus 3. And the other team went for it, and I dropped all my watts just like Wout van Aert, and I got half a bike length, and I got second. So shout out to Rhinos this week for racing us there. So and now I know a little bit of what it feels like to almost win, but coming in second. So anyway, Pogacar, I feel you, exactly the same. So, but his power numbers would probably be my max of. I think it was maybe 205 is probably his wake up watts, anyway. But anyway, I'm excited that we got to see that, and I got to finish that. So, and the women's race is going on right now. I'll have to catch that in a second here too. I don't know if you have yours on in the side, but don't no spoilers. But
no, I'll save that and watch that back later.
Same.
But I say if it's anywhere near like the men's, which I think it will be, because I think it's going to be unless something has happened, I think it's going to be a close race. So looking forward to seeing that.
Goodness. Yeah, this is one of my favorite races of all time, I think, the Paris-Roubaix. It's just, there's so much drama, so many things that can happen. And speaking of Paris-Roubaix. There's a lot in the United States. We have these things called Berry-Roubaix or Dairy-Roubaix, and our friend Josh is not here because he's picking up his packet and everything because he has a big race a week from today. His Berry-Roubaix big race. So we're hoping that he's going to do well and everything. And he's been training a lot. He spent last week all at altitude, which I'm not sure how that works in another week, but but either way. So good luck for him and to everybody racing for that. Which we should actually talk about. Why don't we rearrange this a little bit? Let's talk about training, how we've been training and everything, and using Zwift to train outside. Because I know you've been doing that a lot. I've been doing that a lot. So has Josh. So do a lot of people. And I think there's a great big benefit to that. First off, you stay dry. And which is incredible because the way it's been raining here lately and everything, it's just it's so much better to just go down in the basement, ride. You get all your power targets and everything pretty easily. So now, James, when you're riding or when you're doing a training ride on Zwift, are you doing using erg or are you just going free and watching your watts? What are you doing?
If I'm doing a proper structured training session, I'll use erg mode just to sort of keep within that because I'm working to an event. But say the ones last week, this week have all been either just endurance or more time based, if that makes sense, just to get some
saddle time is a big deal.
and just get the legs moving from that side. So next week is probably a bit more structured, which I will use erg mode. And I think it's that balance between those indoor sessions that are looking at power numbers or targets, and then balancing that with outdoor riding just to finesse the skill, because indoors great, especially if you're time crunched. And also you can just do the session without having to worry about other road users, traffic lights, potholes, as we've talked about. And I think it works because I have found, and other events that I've done, is it does translate, the effort translates, which I think is good. However, you do need to get outside because there are other factors that you need to take into account, like hail, like headwinds, like punches, and things like that, which you don't necessarily, you don't experience on Zwift. And you do need to take them into account.
Yeah, and one of the things that I always forget about that is just the art of drafting, which I'm pretty good at sucking wheels on Zwift, I think, and I need to get better at it in real life. And it's like getting so close, and everything, and feeling that buffeting of air. I don't know. I feel like that's when I'm in the draft. Like I feel that when I'm outside. And I've only been doing a couple of rides lately outside, and I've done like maybe two proper group rides outside on my road bike, which I've been really happy about too. And those guys have all been fast, but then I've also felt a little good because I haven't been the last one up the hill, which has been nice. Usually that's the thing. I'm usually the last one up there. We've got nothing but hills here where I live in the beautiful southeast Minnesota corner of Houston County. But this time I've been one of the first ones up there, and I've been fine. And that is kind of a weird thing to go from people waiting for me to waiting for other people, which I hope that translates. But by the end of the summer, we have these EMAG rides that are super fast, and these early rides. And anyway, they are. I hope to not be the last up there too. But yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've had a good start. I think the two things I've noticed is, obviously you have to concentrate more, but the biggest thing I've seen, especially the last 2 weeks of riding a lot more outside, is just my neck, because I'm having to look up a little bit more. I'm not head down because right. And that's just getting back into the swing of things more than anything else. But it sounds like with what you're doing, if you're seeing that early from your previous years, you're hopeful that you can build on it, and it sounds like you're in a good position. So it's definitely, it's that translatable. It's not like for like, it's not the same, but your legs are there. You know what you can and can't do. You know what it feels like, and you can translate that to outdoors. Or at least I feel I can. If that makes sense. It'd be interesting to see what the listeners and viewers think of it, and they can throw that back at us in comments and in chat as well.
Yeah, I definitely we were talking about our ability earlier, and the faith in my ability has definitely increased because I know that I can, after doing these, shout out to Coach Cat, but after doing these Fast Cat and Coach Cat trainings, I can definitely feel myself that at the end of a race or at the end of a ride, I still have enough. I can do it. Before, it would be like I would do a mountain bike ride, just a regular ride, a Friday night ride, and be like, you know what, I am done for the weekend. I'm getting a large pizza and a 6-pack of beer, and I'm just gonna relax for the rest of the night. And maybe get 2 pizzas, but because oh man, I don't. Do they have Little Caesars there? They probably don't have Little Caesars there, do they? No.
No, no. Okay, not a band where we might have, but I'm not aware of them. If I'm aware of
supposedly Little Caesars is Detroit style pizza, but either way, it doesn't matter. It's so good and it's like so cheap. It's like it used to be $5 for a whole large pizza, and you could just like and where I would mountain bike, you go do the mountain bike ride, and then on the way home there's Little Caesars. So I'm just gonna go, and I know there's gonna be people that are gonna say to us that that's not real pizza, which it probably isn't, but it's so good. Oh my gosh! And for $5, you cannot beat that. You can't buy too much for $5 anymore. So anyway, I missed that. Where are we going? I'm hungry for pizza. Okay. Anyway, but I definitely have the faith in my ability of that, and I've been really excited for that, and especially with some of these races too, doing the finishing and everything too, because I'm worried about that. I always worry about the about what I can do at the end, and now I haven't thought about that for months because I usually, even when I'm outside riding with other people, I'm like, I always have to save some for the end. There's still, 60 miles left or whatever. I still got to save something for the end, but now I can do it. So just go until I can't. And anyway, I've got a cell phone. Someone can come pick me up. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, just make sure you reach downhill on the last 60K. Then
there you go. There you go. So before I forget, how's the new bike been doing, man? You haven't talked much about that. Have you gotten enough Ks on those or?
Yeah, everything outdoor in the UK I've done. So I was going to message you actually. When I came back, when we flew back in, I rode back home. So it was about I think it was about 80 or 90 kilometers that I did. But I made sure I went into the Surrey Hills and I did Leaf Hill. So again, if you go on the Strava, there's a picture of Leaf Hill, which on Zwift is harder.
Yes,
trust me. It's a bit the bigger challenge you have in real life is just the debris in the road that you don't puncture, if that makes sense. But it does get a bit punchy in places. So that was quite cool coming up that way, because you're riding up and you see the building and the wall. You're like, I hate that. That just tells me it's going to get up into double digits, and I'm going to be blowing out my bum for a little while from there. But no, it's good. I had a little. The week before was the first time I took it out, and I went for a spin in the park in Windsor Park, and it is rapid. I'll put some some sprint efforts in on it a bit later in the year, but it is a quick bike, so it's a different beast. So I'm looking forward to throwing it up a proper hill next weekend, and I'll let you know how it goes on. So, I'm currently sporting 38mm slicks on it, so it has proper wide bad boys tires.
That's awesome.
Side. And then not necessarily the most aero benefit ones.
It's okay. You need that. You need that for the potholes and everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, you definitely do. And then what about for now the event you're doing? Are you going to stay with people, or are you just going to say see you at the end?
So I'm doing it with Tom. So shout out to Tom. He's been doing lots of training, and when we've done ladder races and stuff, it's always absolutely hammered me. So I'm like, oh, this doesn't bode well. So I think next week will be a judge. We had these big plans of we want to do this, we want to do it in 8 hours, we want to do it in 9 hours. And I spoke to him on Friday when we had a ladder race afterwards, and he went, I just want to finish. And I was like, let's just see where we are after we do the first climb. But I think next week will give us a bit of an understanding of both where we are in our sort of fitness and our cycling ability, and then we could sort of work from that. But I think we'll try and stay together. We'll see how that plays out. But at the end of it, my view is we'll finish and go to the pub. So we'll see where we are. It'd be nice to hang around from there. I think there's also Sean from Coalition's doing it as well. So there's a couple of people, and one of my ZRL team, two of my ZRL team live where we're staying. So we're going to try and catch up with. Oh, that's awesome. Well, at least one of them on the Sunday after the event and go for a beer. So that'd be quite cool. Yeah, that will be awesome. How far away is it is the event from your house? Oh, it's the other end of the country. So in relation to distances for you, it's like next door, if that makes sense. It's it's in the Lake District, and I'm down south. So I'm trying to think what that is
How many
is
hours is that? Driving in a
it's going to
car?
be about 5-6 hours driving.
Ooh,
So,
that's a big distance, man. That's
but our
proper.
roads
Yeah.
our roads are rubbish as well, so it's probably not
Yeah.
that far. I'll have a look while we're talking and let you
Yeah.
know how far it is away. But it's it's a beautiful part of the world.
Yeah.
The event it's really it's hard, but its scenery is iconic. So
And
it's going to be fun.
well,
It's going to be
we also
hard.
we also have to talk about your kit. What kit are you gonna wear?
Yeah, it's a good. Maybe we talk about that after
Yeah.
next event, because I've got some kits. I've sort of been working out what I'm taking with me, if that makes sense. So
Right.
right,
It,
it's 262 miles,
okay.
well, just under 4.5 hours driving.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's not bad.
so it's the other end of the country. So, but yeah, I've got bike setup. I think I'm pretty happy and dialed in with what we're going with, how we're going to set up with that. Um, Clothing, just looking at sort of bib shorts more than anything else. Maybe
Hmm.
I'm toying with switching to some cargo ones, just so I've got extra pockets to stuff
Hmm.
stuff on the side. And the one probably biggest thing is the pack of just sort of what I'm going to take with
Yeah.
regards to spare in a tube and bits and bobs like that.
Oh,
So
it's so hard.
just trying to work that out of what I've got. And then there's I sort of torn between whether to take a top tube bag to put some food in or not. Now, I don't really like riding with a top tube bag, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And I've only ever really done it on sort of longer events. So I don't know, because it is sort of supported and there's two feed stations on the way. I think you should be able to carry enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I think
I just need to have a play around with it.
yeah, you probably will. I mean, what's the total distance? It's
It's 106 miles. So what's
okay.
that?
So yeah, a little over.
But
yeah, a lot.
but
Yeah,
it's sort of over 3,000 meters of elevation. So all it is like
that's a lot. Yeah. Well,
so
I just rode with the top two bag for the first time a couple
mm,
weeks ago, and I liked having it right there so I could get everything out right there.
yeah,
However, not to get too graphic, but my thighs were rubbing on it when I was climbing,
yeah.
which that's kind of annoying. So it comes down to that, I guess.
I've got time with either commuting to work or on one of the warm up rides to go and have a play with it and see what I think. I'm sort of
That's a good
torn.
idea.
I like the idea of not having it. That makes sense, but that means I've got to
Yes.
carry it on me.
Yes.
And I need to just balance out the two, because one of the challenges that we've got is because it's so up and down. It's going to be a case of you're just going to be almost
Yeah.
eating every 5 minutes, which for me,
Yeah.
not a problem. I can do that. Not normally on a bike, but I've
Yeah.
got the eating bit sorted, which is one of the problems of why I'm still a sea cat rider. But
But what about for have you thought about a hydro pack like a Camelback or something like that? Are you gonna do that?
I think it will look at the weather. I've got
Yeah.
obviously be taking two 750 ml bottles, and we're just looking at the best way to meet the hourly carb intake and how to do that and sort of mix it up a little bit. Because I don't want to. I will take a couple of gels, but I don't want to rely on gels exclusively and
Right.
just sort of mixing it up from there. So just trying different foods that
Yeah.
I would just fill myself up with chocolate, but that's all going to melt. So
Yeah.
you've got to try and mix it. And also you've got to try and mix up the texture
Oh,
and the
man.
savory and the
Right.
sweet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just get to a point where it's just not very nice. So
Can
there's,
you
there's a
imagine
bit of
reaching in your back pocket and just coming out with your fingers just covered in chocolate? You're just yes.
I think I've done it.
Actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've done
I've
it.
done
I think
it.
it's bad enough because I do like Haribo and Tang Fantastics, but
Mm.
even after an hour of them sweating in your back pocket, you pull out this gooey sort of
Yeah.
gummy mess. So there's definitely some more thought that needs to be going into the nutrition part, and also practicing nibbling and eating while riding. One-handed and no-handed and stuff like that, which just don't do enough. So you just need to practice a bit more.
And I would like to give a shout out to the people from Scratch. We did an episode with the Scratch Labs people, and one of the things they suggested, which I don't know why I never thought about this, was to practice it doing your long training rides, doing the eating when you're in the basement. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's way better, because if something doesn't agree with you, the bathroom's a lot closer. And it's I need to be doing that, because I'm worried about working on my carb mix, because right now I just use a regular scratch electrolyte mix, which does have some carbs in there, but I want to start moving to a higher carb thing, and training my gut for that. But because that is also a thing, because you don't want to get sick.
Yeah, and I missed that opportunity, so I'll be working off products that I know and have used.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but there probably would have been a bit more sense. I know Tom's been doing it where he's been working on a certain carb intake that he can sustain, whereas I'm probably just going to be drinking coffee and eating all sorts of garbage that I find along the route.
Yeah,
that'll get me through.
We did a really big big ride last year that I was oh man, we stopped at my favorite bakery, which is the Caledonia Bakery. I'm giving them a shout out. They're amazing, the best bakery in Minnesota. Come at me if you think it's not. You gotta go. It's so good. Anyway, so I remember I got an apple fritter and a cherry blossom. They are so good. Anyway, I ate them both with no problem, and then I was regretting it about 10 minutes later on the bike. But it's like I got to train myself to get better at that. Eat more donuts. Well, I can do that. Yeah,
yeah. You can get the ones with holes in it that you can push them on the edge of your bar ends and just have them there.
Yes. With my new fork on my gravel bike, there's I haven't cut it yet, so there's a lot of again, try not to be too graphic with the hand gestures, but I could put a donut on top there and just nibble down on it and then break a tooth. Ooh, that would be bad. Okay. Anyway, so I'm training for I've got a couple events that are coming up. I'm not really sure which one we're going to do. There's a couple. There's the Haywood up in which is about 2 hours away from us in Minnesota, and might do that one. I'm not sure, either that one or there's a new Trek has sponsored a brand new racing series that's actually going to start in my hometown a week later. So I might do that one just because it's closer. But I'm training for the one on May 16th, so I don't know if I'm going to do the May 16th or May 23rd. I don't know. They're only a week apart, so I might be able to do both. It just depends on family time and everything like that. You got to balance it all because, the lady I live with and who smells so nice and my daughter, they're fantastic and very supportive and willing to let me go out for hours, which is super, super nice. I'm very, very lucky. Let's see, what else can I say about my wife? She's way smarter than I am, way better looking than I am, and she smells way better than I do. So there's that. And but anyway, so I'm super, super thankful for that. We need to, besides all of this, and this is going to be great, but we need to talk about what's happening this week, because ZRL is coming up, and it's the Classic. And I can't thank the developers enough for giving us more and more kilometers and miles to choose from. Because can you imagine what the OGs did on this? This was the only route they had, either forwards or backwards, for a long time. We're going to do it. In B, we're doing it 6 times. How many times is C doing it? Oh, only 4.
Yeah, only 4 for the listeners. So I did point that out to my team, who were like, "Oh, this is going to be a nightmare." I said, "At least you're not doing it 6 times, guys." And one said, "Well, it could be once." And I was like, "There'd be like a tiny race, and it would just be off the bat, super fast." And he went, "Oh yeah, 4 times is all right."
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that because I could see that happening, and there's the FTS and FALs and everything. I really think FAL is probably where it's at. FTS is probably just
FTS is a bonus if you pick it up from there. My frustration, it's going to be full-on race. The challenge for me, being a military medium sprinter, is you're gonna have to absolutely nail it on the Jarvis KOM. Otherwise, because FAL is so important, right, that the sprint's going to be slightly irrelevant. Because if you're if you get dropped off the back, you're playing for minor places. So it just becomes half the lap is just effectively a full gas effort to keep yourself up there, is my thinking on it. And I sort of taken the view of potentially it'll scare a few people and potentially you'll disagree, but I'd be prepared to redline myself on that first climb to make sure I'm near that front group and then just see what happens.
No, I think that's actually a good strategy. I was thinking the same thing, but I'm in the B development team, and I am the low part of that. So I'm going to go for it. I'm Oh, I have to, but I don't feel like I'm going to be too competitive. But I got to be there for the team. I was really hoping that because Josh and I race on the same squad, I was really hoping he was going to be back. But he's on the tapering week, not regeneration week.
Yeah,
the tapering week. So he's not even. I was hoping to convince him that he needs one more big effort so he can take my spot, but he doesn't want to. So
yeah, I was hoping we would have a full squad and I could just sit back with a beer and DS, but with one light, so I'm having to dip in. And I obviously missed the team time trial, so I'm not quite. I'm gonna have to have a look at the rest of the teams that we've got up against and see where we are and actually who to watch out for. But it's how many times you're doing it, it's gonna be brutal.
It's gonna be rough. And I have to give a shout out to our team, the Epiphany Coalition Epiphany. We had the best time trial that we've ever had and the last week, and I know we should have talked about that too. But it was great communication, big polls and everything. I did at the end. I was not one of the 4 that was supposed to cross the line, and that was fine. We had that all decided because it was myself and Tim on my team. We were gonna do big polls at the end to get us to the end, and so it came down to we were doing a minute polls and about 305 watts for me, which is a lot considering my sprint is only 205. So anyway, so that for a minute and. Going for it. We're rotating everything really well through, and then we got towards before the KOM. It was decided, and shout out to Smashley on our team because she was the only one who could think clearly. I mean, I was at the red line. I didn't know what the heck was going on, and I'm the captain of the team. Whatever. I'm just like, whatever you need me to do. And so I was going to go and take a pull, and then she's like, no, wait. And I'm like, okay, what? Do you need me to stop? I will stop. But anyway, so Tim went over and he took a monster pull for the last. Oh my gosh, I don't know. It seemed like forever. I think it was 3 minutes. 3 minutes at whatever his max was that we could all get behind him. And then he dropped off, and then I took him as soon as the KOM started because I was the lighter of us for climbing, and I went as hard as I could for I don't know, seemed like forever, but it was probably only 90 seconds and just went as hard as I possibly could. And oh my gosh, it felt good getting up there, and we ended up with like 30 minutes. We ended up top 10. I'm not really sure what our final place was, but super happy about that. So if that means that we're gonna that we're indicating that we're going to be really competitive because we were only off by the next team by like 2 seconds. So that's incredible. I'm excited for our chances here, but 6 times is that's a lot. That's a tall order. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how it splits up in all the races. So we'll go and have a nosy at some of the earlier APAC streams just to see how the race plays out and what people get up to. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I say, big shout out to Distortion who raced without me and did a really, really good job. Though it was really close. So there was only, I think, about 15, 16 seconds between first and sort of fifth, and they finished fourth. So they did a really, really good job. So chapeau to them. And I'll just reduce and ruin their point scoring on Tuesday, and then they can send me on holiday again.
Yeah, and they're going to pay for your next trip.
Yeah, they can do. I've done enough for them. They've got a mug out of me. What more do they want? It's about time I started paying back.
Oh man, yeah. Well, this is going to be interesting. So watch this space. We'll definitely next week we'll have to catch up and see what's going on and see how everybody fared and everything. This is this has been such good racing, and already especially with DRS, there's been such great camaraderie, and I do appreciate that. I feel like I haven't I've been in races where people get upset, but like I feel like we've kind of been racing the same people. Maybe it's because of ladder too, that we're more familiar with each other. People have been a lot nicer in the chats. I don't know if you've ever been in a chat where someone is saying, yelling at somebody, but I don't understand. I mean, it's your own effort, whatever. But anyway.
Yeah, we've had a few sort of now and again in another series as well. But ZRL's been was pretty good. Everyone was there, and a similar thing with the ladder racing as well. It's always usually extremely cordial and positive, no matter what the result at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's good to hear, because we're all here for the same reason, to have fun and just get out and ride and everything. So, super happy about that. Well, So, James, we've done it again. We made it through this week. Super happy that we've done it, and thank you so much for being here. And I know that we gotta watch the women's Paris-Roubaix. Yeah, I know. So we got to get there. So that's why we were trying to sneak this episode in real quick. So with that, thank you for everybody for listening with us this week and every other week. And please send us an email on at WatopianWeekly@gmail.com, or check on our Discord server, or say hi on Strava or on in Watopia on the companion app. We're always happy to talk back. At least I don't know. I always talk a lot, but and I think people usually just find. I remember the last message I see is, how do you mute the chat? And then, anyway, so well, thank you everybody, and you know what? We'll see you in Watopia. Woo! Yeah. All right.